Hey Falcons fans! The Falcons have announced a change, and I'm going to tell you all the details about it and more, so click the like button now. Without further ado, let's get straight to the point. Today we have a fresh update on the roster. The Falcons announced a major change to their practice squad this week. They brought back linebacker Rashaan Evans, who we already know well, and to make room, the team ended up releasing defensive back Dane Cruikshank. This move doesn't really come as a surprise, but it's important to understand what it means for the team going forward. Let's recap. Dane Cruikshank joined the Falcons in May as a seasoned veteran, especially on special teams, and was even promoted to the active roster in Week 2. In that close win against the Eagles, he played 14 snaps on special teams, but was quickly returned to the practice squad after the game. With the arrival of Justin Simmons, an All-Pro who brought a lot of security to our secondary, the space for Cruikshank started to get smaller and smaller. Now, with the arrival of Rashaan Evans on the roster, someone had to go, and the chosen one was Cruikshank, who, despite having shown his worth during the preseason with some tackles and a good pass defense, ended up running out of space. It is important to remember that Dane is already a veteran in the league, with 55 games and 4 solid seasons with the Tennessee Titans under his belt. He played for the Bears last year, but faced a series of injuries that led him to injured reserve. Rashaan Evans, on the other hand, is a familiar name to us. He had 3 good seasons alongside Cruikshank there with the Titans and now returns to Atlanta. We know that he has experience and can further strengthen our linebacker core, which, as we have seen in recent weeks, has dealt with some important losses. So, this trade seems like a good move, both for the depth of the roster and to give our defense more options. Cruikshank, however, still has potential. In 2021, he had his best season with the Titans, recording 43 tackles and starting in all 4 games he played. He could still find a new team that needs a player with his versatility on special teams and defense. So, fans, what do you think of this move? Do you think the return of Rashaan Evans will further strengthen our defense? And what about Cruikshank? Do you think he still has a chance to excel on another team in the league? Now, get ready because I have a must-read story about 2 players who may not be household names yet, but after this, I guarantee they will be. These guys played huge roles in our thrilling 26-24 win over the New Orleans Saints. We all know how critical the defense and our kicker, Young-Ho Koo, were in the second half, but today, I want to highlight 2 unsung heroes, Troy Anderson and D. Alford. Let's start with linebacker Troy Anderson. This guy was an absolute beast on Sunday. He racked up a jaw-dropping 17 tackles. Yes, you heard that right, 17. But his crowning moment came when he intercepted a deflection from defensive end Matt Judon and ran it back for a touchdown in the second quarter. I don't know about you, but I was out of my seat when he crossed the goal line. It was one of the most electrifying moments of the game. Anderson didn't stop there. He also had a pass deflection and a tackle for loss, and was all over the field. The best part? This was only his 10th NFL game. When he was drafted, scouts raved about his athleticism, with an incredible relative athletic rating, RAS, of 10.0. Coming out of Montana State, Anderson had a lot to prove, and Sunday's performance felt like his big I'm here moment. Head coach Raheem Morris saw it coming, saying, "He plays with tremendous speed and violence, and we love that." And who wouldn't? Anderson helped contain the Saints' explosive offense, holding them to just 10 points in the second half. Unfortunately, it wasn't all smooth sailing. Anderson suffered a knee injury in the fourth quarter, which could have been even more spectacular had he stayed. He's day-to-day now, and we'll be keeping an eye on whether he can play against the Bucs on Thursday. Now, let's talk about D. Alford. If you didn't know him before, you certainly will now. Alford was a massive standout, making sure Anderson's pick 6 was worth it and making game-changing plays throughout the game. Alford, a cornerback, even led the team in sacks. Yes, you heard right, a cornerback leading the team in sacks. You don't see that every day. Alford made his mark late in the third quarter with less than 2 minutes remaining. The Saints were on our 31-yard line with Derek Carr at the helm. On a crucial 2nd and 13, Alford flew in on a blitz and took down Carr, forcing the Saints to kick a field goal after they failed to convert on 3rd and 17. It was a play that helped limit the damage and kept us in the fight, and Alford wasn't ready. In the fourth quarter, with the Saints just 7 yards away from turning the game around, Alford showed up once again. He broke up a pass from Carr to Rashid Shaheed on a critical play, forcing a turnover on downs after a long 12-play, 63-yard drive that consumed nearly 7 minutes of clock time. That one play essentially saved the game. Alford's efforts stopped 11 points at 2 crucial moments, keeping the Falcons in contention until the end. After the game, Alford said, "It's an all-or-nothing situation. It's one-on-one. As the NFL players say, that's how you make your money. So you've got to keep making those big plays." And he certainly did. Between Anderson and Alford, these 2 warriors showed immense heart and determination. Even when the offense struggled to find the end zone, the defense stepped up and brought home the win. Now, I want to hear from you, Falcons fans. What did you think of Anderson and Alford's performances? Do you think they're ready for even bigger roles on this team? After that epic win against the Saints and a huge road win against one of the NFC's strongest teams, the Philadelphia Eagles, you'd think the Falcons would have moved up in the rankings, right? But guess what? Despite those massive wins, ESPN only has us ranked 17th. And here's the kicker. The Saints, who we beat on a last-second field goal, are ranked 14th. Confused? Yeah. Let's try to figure that out. The reasoning behind this ranking, according to ESPN, revolves around a few key issues on defense. They pointed out that the Falcons have the second worst time of possession allowed in the league, averaging 35 minutes and 28 seconds per game. Our defense has adopted a bend but don't break strategy, meaning we stay strong in critical moments but end up staying on the field too long, which wears the team down over the course of the game. Another concern is the number of offensive plays our opponents run. Teams facing the Falcons have run 276 plays, compared to just 215 for us. This puts a lot of pressure on defense, as opponents are racking up more first downs, 85 to our 70. But it's not all bad news. Our secondary defense is crushing it. Only the Seahawks have allowed fewer passes of 20-plus yards than we have, so this is a huge win for our defense. But then there's the issue of our run defense. ESPN noted that we've allowed 582 rushing yards, which ranks us among the worst in the league in that category. Yet, we managed to hold Alvin Kamara to just 30 yards and a single touchdown in the second half of the Saints game. It was a gutsy defensive performance that held their offense to just 10 points in the second half, so there's definitely some light at the end of the tunnel. Now, you might be asking yourself, if our defense played so well and we beat the Saints, why are we ranked lower than them? Great question. It seems like the rankings have a lot to do with our offense. While our defense has been strong, the offense has struggled to convert chances into touchdowns, which was highlighted by NFL.com's Eric Edholm. He ranked the Falcons at 19th, up just one spot from the previous week. He made it clear offensive touchdowns continue to be hard to come by, and it's not likely that many wins will come if they continue to score 0 touchdowns. And you know what? He's right. The offense needs to find its groove. We've been relying heavily on our defense and our kicker, Younghoe Koo, who has been absolutely decisive. But if we want to climb the rankings and secure more wins, the offense needs to improve. This week's game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be a big test. The Bucs are also ranked ahead of us, so a win could be just what we need to finally earn the respect we deserve. A dominant performance could change the course of our season. Ultimately, these rankings show that the Falcons are on the right track, but there's still work to be done. The defense can't carry the team every game, and the offense needs to improve. Balance is key, and we can find it in this upcoming game. All right, Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. Do you think we deserve to fall behind the Saints, even after beating them? And what are your predictions for our matchup against the Buccaneers? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss the latest news. Go Falcons!